I was very apprehensive about my daughter leaving home.
I was quite excited to go to university.
Being on her own, I was very worried about her being homesick.
My mum was the really one who was really worried. She was always kind of really trying to be really organised, and she was always stressing, and she was the one who was planning and buying things for me months and months in advance.
I wanted my independence. I wanted to be away from home. I didn't really want to be talking to my parents every day.
And she was stocking up supplies, and she'd come home one day and be like, "Oh, I've bought you something else for uni." I was like, "Mum, I don't even know if I've got into uni yet."
Well, for both of them, I really just wanted them to go on to do what they wanted to do.
I never had any ambitions for her to attend university. That was never a thing in my day.
University for her was always her goal. She's never talked about anything else.
What he wants to do, what he feels happy with.
Rosina wants to teach.
She's following the path that she always thought she would go on.
Came to a couple of open days, found them very informative.
Go to as many open days as you can go with them.
Every open day there will be a finance talk, and that is definitely worth visiting, 100%. I wouldn't miss that one.
There's a huge number of universities. How on earth do you decide where you're going to look?
We did find them helpful in ways that it made us kind of filter down the things that she certainly knew she didn't want to do.
Everything from the course they're doing, the accommodation they're going to be living in.
She knew what she was going to get, what she could bring with her and what she had to leave behind.
So that you get a feel, so that you can picture them there.
But she was very clear. She wanted to do criminology. She wanted a university that had a placement year so that she could gain work experience as part of the degree. And I think there were only at the time 5 places that offered that. So that was the 5 places we went to look at.
At the open days I was able to ask those questions. What happens if? And I did actually go with a list.
And unless you make very specific notes on a notepad that was with the university's name on the top, it all kind of merges into one.
You get confused.
So did we get that from Brighton, or was that in Nottingham, or was that in Birmingham?
If I whispered to them in a lecture when it was the open days, what would happen if this happened? They were like, well, you ask. Put your hand up and actually speak out for yourself. The fact that they were there with me as I was doing that kind of built up my confidence in order to ask those questions.
And so I was just looking at each open day for that one little light in her eye that said, okay, this is what I want to do.
Most apprehensive about was her getting the grades she wanted to be able to go to her chosen university. She got what she needed. Then the reality starts to kick in, and you start thinking
whether I prepared them enough.
Her well-being.
How's she going to manage financially?
You are always aware of the back of your head that there is a lot of debt.
All feels quite intense in the beginning.
I was worried the course maybe would be too much for her.
How much are we going to have to provide in terms of extra funding?
The further you explore things, the more intense it seems to get.
Being able to do the everyday domestic things.
Having to stand up on their own 2 feet, feed themselves.
Are they going to be able to look after themselves?
I personally have never been to university. I joined the Navy when I was 16, so we had a lot to learn about universities.
In their A-level years, I tended to kind of mother them.
What's it going to be like coping with the workload?
Pined for her mum and her dad.
Left her there, unpacked her, got to the car and sobbed for ages.
I didn't have her at home either, so yes, I was feeling that loss as well.
I was more missing her, I think, than she actually, in reality, missed me.
I could probably count on one hand the amount of times I've really felt homesick.
Really, the biggest anxiety is she going to be happy?
Once we got over the first couple of days of I've been away, which were horrendous.
And the big, and without both of us trying not to cry as we walked away. It was a big moment, and it's a few years down the line, but it's still there.
But once we got over them, the transition was really good. He proved himself very quick to be a good cook. He was good at his money management. He sorted out things.
Technology makes it so easy to stay in touch nowadays.
My parents do probably send more messages on the WhatsApp, like pictures of like things from the house and pictures of our pets, that kind of thing.
I've got a WhatsApp group with my mum and dad and my sister, and I talk on the phone a couple of times a week.
Facebook and Instagram.
I do forget to reply sometimes.
She would Skype me if she had something to say, but she was often out, so I didn't hear for 2 or 3 days.
You haven't replied to my messages.
But I did know that if there was any problems, she would text me or somebody would contact me.
Yeah, my ambition for her...
The university degree has given them both the opportunity to follow their dreams. And that's what I wanted them to do. They're more independent.
As long as she's happy and she gets a good job.
We look at them and we think they're only kids, but you have to think they're 16 at this stage. They have a reasonable mind of what they want to do themselves.
Teach them to cook. Teach them to cook cheap, quick and easy meals.
They actually say to you, what you've got to realise is this is not school anymore.
A diet is not always perfect.
We won't be coming to you saying your son or daughter is not doing their work, not handing in their things. It will be your son or daughter told that.
Bring her laundry home.
It's the setup of a house. It's no different to setting up a home, because they need, you know, a certain amount of crockery, cutlery, pots, pans, and there is also, that's a cost implication that a lot of people don't think about.
She's pretty much growing up and becoming a young lady now.
You know, he's expanded his life, he's become more independent.
She has grown as a person like I never imagined she would.
Going to university isn't just about doing a course.
More than just doing your uni work.
It's because it really helps you get to know new people.
When you're picking your GCSEs, pick something that you love, something that you're good at and something that you think is going to be useful.
No matter what course you do, it's not so much about what specific subjects you learn within that course, it's about the skills that you develop during that course.